Hi everyone, I'm Jagdish. I have 12 plus years of experience in healthcare and pharmacovigilance domain in agile, scrum, and project delivery environments. If you have watched the planning part of this series, you already know the basic estimation techniques. So I do not want to repeat a textbook list today. Instead, I want to answer a more practical project manager question. How do I make an estimate credible when I don't know everything yet? We will use our Meta automation example and take one requirement from uncertainty to defensible commitment. The difficult part is rarely calculating a number. The difficult part is explaining why we believe that number. Let's start with the biggest trap in project estimation. Imagine a stakeholder asks about a metro automation enhancement. Can you finish this in 4 weeks? What is the easiest answer? Say yes, but it may be the worst PM project manager answer. A better response is let me validate the scope, effort, dependencies, and available capacity before I commit. That is not avoiding the question, that is a responsible estimation. So, what do I need to understand before I put a number on the table is for metro automation. Suppose the request is automate a new metro coding update. The sentence is not enough to estimate. I need to clarify what the feature includes, affected data, rules, configuration, integration, testing, validation, evidence, UAT, and deployment. The first estimation activity is clarification, not calculation. Once the estimating object is clear, I can decompose into a deliverable and a work what outcome we are estimating and work package. Can the work be understood or owned? Now I can decompose the metro automation change from requirement analysis, that is clarify rules, data and impact, configuration, implement configure changes, data and mapping, update mappings, affected data, testing, functional regression testing, validation and UAT, evidence, acceptance criteria and readiness, and deployment, release and transition. I am making the work visible. If I cannot explain what the work contains, I should be cautious about claiming that the estimate is reliable. Now we can estimate each component understand what drives the total. Let us illustrate let's use illustrative numbers. First, analysis 8% days. Next comes configuration 18% days. Data mapping 14% days. Testing and UAT 24% days. And deployment 6% days. Illustrative total that gives us around 70% days. If someone challenges the estimate, I can refine individual components rather than defend one mysterious number. But 70% days still does not tell me when the project will finish. 70% days does not mean 70 calendar days. For metro automation, perhaps the SME is available only 30%. Maybe the tester is shared. Maybe some work can run in parallel. Maybe some validation waits for evidence. So I convert effort into duration using real capacity and dependencies. Effort answers how much work, duration answers how much calendar time, and commitment is the date range with confidence. And this is where resource loading becomes important. Coming to the resource loading, imagine I have an excellent PV SME assigned to metro automation, but that SME is supporting three projects. On paper, I have the resource. In reality, I may not have the capacity. So I ask, do I have the skill, enough capacity at the right time? A resource plan without availability validation can make a good estimate look bad later. Let's bring uncertainty directly into estimate. Not every part of the estimate or Medra automation estimate has the same confidence. Testing may be well understood from historical work, while new integration may be uncertain. I should not pretend both numbers have same confidence. The goal is to make uncertainty visible, not hide it. Now let's see how I would challenge the estimate before presenting it. For metro automation, I would review assumptions before commitment. Are requirements stable? Is the SME available? Is the integration specification ready? Is the test environment available? Do we know the validation evidence required for each major assumption? I ask, what if it is wrong? That turns estimation into risk thinking, and this is where expert review becomes valuable. Coming to the estimate review, don't estimate alone. I would not treat estimation as a project manager sitting alone and deciding the number. For metro automation, the people closest to the work should challenge the estimate. The SME validates business complexity, technical leads validates solution effort, QA and validation challenge testing and evidence. The delivery team validates capacity and sequencing. My role is to facilitate, expose assumptions, challenge gaps, and bring the estimate into the integrated plan. The project manager owns the commitment process. The team provides the expertise. Once reviewed, I still need to communicate the estimate correctly. When I present the metro automation to the leadership, I would not simply say the project will take 70 days. I would say our current estimate is 70% days, with a working range of approximately 65 to 80% days. based on the current scope and team inputs. Then I explain the assumptions, top risks, and what could move the estimate. This gives leadership they can use for a decision. But what happens when someone still says, I need one date? A stakeholder says, I need one date. Can you commit to June 30? I would not hide behind a range forever, but I would make the commitment transparent. For example, June 30 is achievable if the SME is available as planned. The integration dependency is ready by May 10 and the scope remains unchanged. Now the date has conditions. It is a commitment based on visible assumptions, not blind confidence. And when the assumptions change, the estimate needs to change too. Suppose Medra automation was estimated at 70% days, actual effort becomes 82% days. Was the estimate bad? Maybe, but investigate first. Perhaps requirements changed, date complexity was higher, rework increased, or a dependency created additional effort. The important output is not blame, it is the learning. Actual should improve future estimating. Now we can turn that learning into a practical discipline. Now this is that estimate learning group loop. Estimate, deliver, compare, analyze, learn, and improve. If I repeatedly estimate my draw automation work, I can blindly use historical insight. Perhaps testing repeatedly takes more effort than initially estimated. That is information that can improve future estimate. Estimation becomes stronger when the organization learns from its own delivery dates. Let's turn into an practical interview answer. If an interviewer asks, how do you estimate a project? I would avoid giving only definitions. I would tell a story for metro automation. What was the requirement? How did it break down? Who contributed? What assumption did we make? What commitment did we recommend? What happened? What did we learn? That demonstrate practical project management. It shows estimate as a decision making process, not just formula. Let's test with realistic scenario. Yes. A stakeholder wants the metro automation change in 4 weeks. Your estimate is 6 to 8 weeks. Team estimates as 6 to 8 weeks. SME is only 30% available. And the integration dependency is not confirmed. What would you do as a project manager? Validate the estimate, identify the constraint, explore options, scope reduction, additional capacity, dependency resolution, then present trade offs. Your job is to turn pressure into a decision conversations. Let's bring this video into one simple flow. Clarify, estimate something specific, decompose, make the work visible, validate, use people data and assumption, quantify, estimate effort and capacity, qualify, communicate uncertainty, commit, make conditions valuable, learn, compare estimate with actual, improve, use learning next time. The techniques are important, but the project manager mindset is more important. A credible estimate is transparent about what we know, what we assume, and what could change. And that brings me to the thought I want to leave you with. I want to leave you with one thought. The goal is not to predict perfectly, it is to prepare intelligently. That is what estimation means. We accept uncertainty, we make assumptions visible, we use the best information available, and when reality changes, we learn and adapt. A strong project manager does not pretend to know the future. They prepare to the team to handle it. Let's close the loop like the planning content introduced estimation techniques, budgeting translated project needs into financial planning. Here we went one level deeper how to make an estimate credible when the information is incomplete. For Medra automation, clarify the requirement, decompose the work, validate capacity, expose assumptions, communicate uncertainty, make a transparent commitment, and learn from actuals. This is the practical assumption mindset I want you to take away. Thanks for watching. I will see you in the next video.